Welcome to another episode of From Foundation Podcast with your host CJ and Tony. Today we are moving into chapter 33 in Genesis. We just covered chapter 32 in episode 41. And we saw Jacob getting ready to meet his brother Esau, who he's estranged from, who for maybe good, maybe not so good reasons wants Jacob dead. And he's Jacob's going to be Jacob, and he's trying to. God has been doing a work in him, and he's changing before our very eyes. One could say he's being cooked in a pressure cooker, and this transition phase is a struggle between his old nature and his new identity. Almost like he's wrestling with himself, and the new man is trying to emerge out of his old self. In that sense, he's living the Christian life, and he's being a good role model for us in one sense, because he still falls back on his old tricks of manipulating a little bit, but he's also learning to lean on God more and more. He prepared for meeting his brother, which we're getting to now, by doing three things. He made bow preparations, he prayed, and he offered tribute to his brother. And that reminds us of a good principle, that while we trust God, we're also called to take action too. And we need to be partners with God, not treat God as a slave or a servant, but also do our part of what needs to be done. In this case, for Jacob, it was to, prepare for the worst case scenario. It's like buying insurance on a property that might flood or might be caught in a wildfire or an earthquake or whatever the case may be. And now, at the end of chapter 32, we saw him wrestling a man that came out of nowhere and disappeared before sunrise. A man who said, why are you asking my name? Almost like he was saying, you know who I am. And something about this man told Jacob that this was no ordinary man. In fact, throughout history, for various reasons, people have thought of this man as being an angel, even though the text does not say so. What the text does say, out of Jacob's own mouth, is that he saw God face to face. And earlier, Tony he described this man as Jesus himself, and I explained how we got to that. If you want to go back and watch that episode again. But we agree that it's the second person of the Trinity. It's the second power of heaven, as Second Temple Jews would say. I referred those who are interested in the topic more to look up Dr. Michael Heiser's videos. Uh, he can explain it much better than any of us can, and it would be great. It would bless you a lot if you did. Um, but now we're going into 33. This is where the pedal is going to meet the metal, and um, he's going to come face to face with his brother. Um, we can say it's amicable. It starts with a lot of promise and ends with a bit of a fizzle, but it's not bad.
Right.
It's a miracle. Um, God keeps His promise, and Jacob does not die. Um, so, shall we?
Yeah. And if you don't mind, I want to go back real quick
Yeah.
to verse 27 out of chapter 32. Uh, so he said to him, this is Jesus, the second person. He said to him, "What is your name?" So a lot of people would be like, "You mean Jesus doesn't know his name? He's the one that named him, basically." But it's not
Yeah.
a, duh, what's your name? It's, who are you? He's saying, you know yourself as Jacob, but you're no longer going to be Jacob.
Yeah.
And this is where he changes his name to Israel. So, a lot of people like to twist things around, and it's not, he knows his name, but he's trying to make him understand, yeah, that was your name,
Yeah.
but it's no longer that. So,
It's like when you ask a little kid, "What'd you do with whatever? Did you do such and such?" Before you ask him if did you do such and such, you usually give the kid an opportunity to come clean,
mm-hmm.
and this is kind of like it,
Yep. So I
Yeah.
just wanted to clarify that because I forgot to say that last time. But
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
so here we go, chapter 33. Now Jacob lifted his eyes and looked, and there Esau was coming, and with him 400 men. So he divided the children among Leah, Rachel, and the two maidservants. And he put the maidservants and their children in front, Leah and her children behind, and Rachel and Joseph last. Uh, then he crossed over before them and bowed himself to the ground 7 times until he came near to his brother. Uh, Now, Rachel had more than just Joseph. So, you know, being pretty specific, Rachel and Joseph, but not the other
Well, the other
that she
kid.
had.
Well, the other kids she had were through her maid. It wasn't her. They weren't her own children. That's why it just lumps them with
Mm-hmm.
the other maids. Bilhah and Zilpah are together with their children
Okay,
up front. Um, Benjamin isn't born yet.
that's it. That's why I'm like, what about the? But yeah, he's
Yeah.
not born yet. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what it says. Wait a minute.
But it is
uh,
telling. It is telling that he divides them up with
mm-hmm.
the maids and their children up front, then Leah with her kids, and then Rachel with Joseph
Mm-hmm.
right next to Jacob. And some have suggested in the past that, oh, he was thinking, well, if Esau kills his men that he sent ahead with the tribute, and then he kills the wives, the maidservants and the children, maybe the wives can get away,
Mm-hmm.
but he's making sure Rachel is right next to him with his, and
His favorite. Yeah.
because yeah. But um, I would like to offer a different
Oh, let's hear
opinion.
it. I like these.
It's simple. It's really simple. It's not that. It's not that necessarily that he's like, oh well, if y'all die, oh well, as long as I have Rachel left, that's all I care about. That's not
Mm-hmm.
the thing. I mean, he's putting his children up front there too, and you know he loves his children. So I don't think that that's the issue. What he's doing is, even today, when you're introducing people to somebody important, you almost always leave the most important person for the last.
Save the best for last.
Yeah, it's like, and this is because then the social dance of the first time meeting
Mhm.
is going to be more elaborate. So you save the most important person for last, so that they get more time, and you're not rushing them away
Mhm.
along to make room for the less important
Right.
people. Just like in the military, who when you're having a formation, who shows up first? It's your platoon leader or your squad leader, whatever. And then the last two people to come are the squadron sergeant major and the CO. Like, they're last. They walk in, and it's a big hoopla, and they're given the majority of the time. It's the same thing.
Um, Significance on bowing to the ground 7 times.
It's just he's taken a subservient stance. Um, he's like saying, I know my place. You're the big man. I respect your authority.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, that's it. It's a display of humility and
Okay.
respect.
I didn't know because, 7 has a lot of different meanings, and I didn't know if this had a specific.
Well, it's just that it's total acquiescence.
Mhm. Verse 4, but Esau ran to meet him and embraced him and fell on his neck and kissed him, and they wept.
Mhm.
Uh, I just want to stop there. You know what that reminds me of?
Right.
Is the story of what Jesus talked about back in Matthew, or Ford in Matthew 14, talking about when the prodigal son was returning
Yeah.
and the father ran out to meet him. He was so overwhelmed with joy that his son had returned. And it's sort of a mirror of this, that Jacob's so overwhelmed that his brother has returned to him, not
Uh-huh.
knowing, Jacob or Israel, which would have, not knowing what was going to happen, just like the prodigal son didn't know that his father was going to greet him with such pomp and circumstance, give him
Yeah.
the ring, give him the best robe, kill the fatted calf. And here we see a mirror image of that with Esau and his
Yeah.
brother.
It's funny that Jacob's not there though. I mean, sorry, um, Isaac is not there though, but it's Esau. Instead of the instead of the father coming out,
Mhm.
it's the
It's the brother.
it's the older brother
Hmm.
that in the parable was kind of in his feelings when his father offered up a feast and the best clothes and everything to the younger son, who was the prodigal son.
Hmm.
So there's, yeah, I love how it brings that to mind,
Hmm.
and there's still a difference, and I think that's why you don't see the same level of excitement and happens fanfare happening there, um, because yeah, like you said, the father's heart is always going to be glad when the son returns. Uh, and it's similar. Like the prodigal son, ran away, squandered his inheritance um, in um, in a sinful lifestyle, and had to learn to support himself somehow,
Hmm.
and he was failing utterly, and he came back. Here, the son the younger brother comes back, but he's a success. He
He's a
actually,
success, but he's also in fear
yeah,
of the consequences,
yeah,
sort of like the prodigal. He's fear of the consequences, but he was willing to face up. You know, I'll be a servant to my father if I have to, and he's uh, fessing up to his brother.
yeah,
I'll do anything I need to to get your love back.
yeah. Uh, it, I love the similarities and differences,
Mm-hmm.
and
Well, one is talking more about salvation, the return
well, yeah,
to the Father. Uh, this one is not talking about salvation, but a reconciliation
yeah,
of brothers.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Verse 5, and he lifted his eyes and saw the woman and children. I'm sorry, and saw the women and children, and said, "Who are these with you?" So he said, "The children whom God has graciously given your servant." Then the maid servants came near, they and their children, and bowed down. And Leah also came near with her children, and they bowed down.
hmm
Afterward, Joseph and Rachel came near, and they bowed down.
See, this is kind of what makes me think that, oh, this is not about letting some die so that some can get away.
Mm-hmm.
It's about how you would introduce people depending on their importance. Yeah, just yeah, spelled out right there. I don't even need to say a word.
Then Esau said, "What do you mean by all this company which I met?" And he said, "These are to find favor in the sight of my Lord." There he goes. That's the second time. Uh, but Esau said, "I have enough, my brother. Keep what you have for yourself." And Jacob said, "No, please, if I have now found favor in your sight, then receive my present from my hand, inasmuch as I have seen your face as though I had seen the face of God, and you were pleased with me. Please take my blessing that is brought to you, because God has dealt graciously with me, and because I have enough." So he urged him, and he took it. Well, that's a strong. I have seen your face as though I had seen the face of God.
Hmm.
There's not much more of a compliment
Yeah,
that you could give comparing him to God, uh, especially when he's seen God face to face.
I know, right?
Uh, is there a? I don't really see any manipulative purpose in this here.
No, that's the thing. It's it's painting a picture of a butterfly emerging from the cocoon, where he's a changed man. Beforehand, he would just do stuff, and you knew, oh, I smell doo doo. Like there's something rotten beneath this exterior appearance. But here he's laying it all on the table. Yeah, I sent those to you. I sent all those men with all those animals to you as a way of currying favor.
Hmm.
I just don't want you to kill me. I want everything to be good. So I sent you a gift. If you liked it, then have mercy on me.
Yeah, and I like in verse 11 where he says, "Take the blessing. I see you've got plenty. You've got more than enough, but I want to do this because
Yeah,
now it's showing more of his heart of it not being as manipulative. Now it's the fact that uh, he's wanting to do it out of love for his brother, because even though he has more than enough, I'm still willing to give it to you because this is what I feel I need to do to reconcile ourselves, our bond."
yeah,
Uh, and it's you know, and I don't know how much said he had to urge him, but Esau finally did uh,
yeah,
accept the gift or gifts.
yeah.
Um, and so Maybe it's a turning point for Jacob.
Yeah. And it's also, to be perfectly fair and honest, it's also, again, the social dance between two parties where you offer something, they have to reject it a few times, and they have to
Uh-huh.
offer again, and you finally accept it almost begrudgingly. But it's like, yeah, that was always going to be the case. It's just you have to
Hmm.
have that dance.
I like that.
But
Uh, I like that dance. Yeah, it's good way to explain that one. Verse 12. Then Esau said, "Let us take our journey. Let us go, and I will go before you." But Jacob said to him, "My Lord knows that the children are weak, and the flocks and the herds which are nursing are with me. And if the men should drive them hard, one day all the flock would die. Please let my Lord go on ahead of before his servant. I will lead on slowly at a pace which the livestock that go before me and the children are able to endure until I come to my Lord and Seer." I mean, yeah, okay. I don't. Uh, this must have happened, and I'm really not sure about this. Why he's wanting to delay. Uh, it seems like a weak excuse. I don't know why, but
yeah, like we said in the beginning, it starts. This episode starts with promise and excitement, and then it kind of fizzles out towards the end. And this is where it starts going flat. This is where the Coke has set out too long, and it's losing its fizz.
mhm.
So Esau has come. He's, as far as we can tell, happy to see his brother. He's willing to bury the hatchets and let bygones be bygones. They both have teary eyes of the joy and the happiness of reconciliation.
Hmm.
But Jacob still has some fear in him, and he in he's not the master manipulator anymore. That's part of the change in him is he's not as good at manipulating anymore.
Hmm.
So the excuse he comes up with is, like you said, weak. It's weak.
It
Now it's not wrong. It's not a lie. Esau and his men, they don't have flocks or young children with them. They can go as fast as they want. Animals, they've traveled several hundred miles,
mhm.
and the little children, they're tired. But Esau and his men could also go as slow as they want. So there's a little bit of rejection. Like Jacob is trying to say, "I love you, but you got to go to your home, and I'm gonna have to make my own home." Um, and I kind of don't want to be so close so as to be in your clutches if you change your mind and want to do me harm.
What I see here is cool. My brother's good with me. That's all I needed. I'm good to go.
Yeah,
I have no more worries about him attacking me. I made amends. Yeah, you go ahead and do what you're gonna do. Now I feel safe enough to go do what I need to do.
perhaps, perhaps.
Or maybe it's all together.
I think it might be all together because the next part of the conversation is gonna, I think, make it a little clearer that he wants to, that he's still worried a little bit, and that he wants to make an excuse so that they can put some distance between them. It's not just like like
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he's relieved that okay, so right now it's good. He's not wanting to kill me, but what if there's that what if in the back of his brain still,
Right.
and that's clear in his next um
Move.
yeah.
Uh, I had something. I'm going
I'm
to get it
sorry.
back. Even at my age, I'm going to get it back. Yeah, when he meets up with his brother. Now, it doesn't say, but I'm assuming that this encounter didn't last just a couple hours,
Yeah,
that it had several days in it, maybe a week.
maybe.
And if that's the case, his kids didn't need to rest anymore because if they'd been sitting around for a few days or a week or whatever, they were rested and the flocks were rested.
I mean that is a
That's,
possibility.
yeah, so, all that kind of plays into that, what I was saying about uh, him saying to himself, we're good to go. I don't have to fear my brother at this point. Uh, of course, we got to read on, but up to this point, that's what it looks like to me up to this point.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, makes sense.
so, uh, verse 15, and Esau said, "Now let me leave you with some of the people who are with me." But he said, "What need is there? Let me find favor in the sight of my Lord." So Esau returned that day. Uh, so Esau returned that day on his way to Seir, and Jacob journeyed to Succoth, built himself a house, and made booths for his livestock. Therefore, the
Hmm.
name of that place is called Succoth, uh, which means booth. Um,
Hmm.
is this a little bit of fear from Jacob that he's afraid that maybe Esau's wanting to keep an eye on him
Yeah.
with men staying behind?
And that's why I have a feeling that it's more than just, okay, what
Hmm.
you were saying. I think that's part of it, but he's first he said, well, nah, you go ahead. We'll follow along slowly. And he said, well, let me leave some of my men with you. And he was like, no, no thanks. Like you said, I don't need you to keep eyes on me or tabs on me. I
Hmm.
don't, what if they in the middle of the night kill me? I don't need that. Um,
And his brother may had good intentions of saying,
yeah,
"Let me leave some of my men here to keep you protected,"
could be. And
because we never hear anything about Jacob having an army. Only Esau at this moment.
yeah,
Oh, pretty sure he
no,
does, or has men to protect him somewhat because of all of what he
yeah,
had.
yeah,
But it's just odd that it's never been mentioned, and him offering to leave some men there.
yeah.
There's a lot of different rabbits trails that we can go on this whole thing there. Uh,
Yeah. I mean, like you said, he has men. He has at least the shepherds. We know. We know that not as many as 400 because otherwise he wouldn't be as scared.
right.
So must be a lot less than that, but still enough to corral and herd what needs to be, what must be at least several thousand heads of livestock. If like you said, he was offering a tenth of everything he had,
Mhm.
over 200 animals. Well, that means he has over 2,000, right?
Well, that was just 200 ewes,
Yeah, well,
and
that's what
then the
I'm
rams
saying.
and 200 donkeys
Yeah,
or whatever, but probably close to uh, between what 700 and 1,000 animals that he gave him,
exactly.
possibly.
So do the math. Like, I'm saying at least 2,000. Probably closer to 7, 8, 9, 10,000. But so he has a lot of men with him, and they have their families probably and their children. But like you said, he's happy to have made peace with his brother, but I think he doesn't fully trust him
Mm-hmm.
because of he knows how he was manipulative in the past, and he knows Laban was, and he knows how his wives tried to manipulate him into loving them more, one more than the other, by giving him their maidservants as wives also, and the nuclear arms child race that they were in. And he learned manipulation from his mom, and he he's trying to fight his old nature, but it's still there, and he sees it in others around him, most notably his brother
Mm-hmm.
now. And like there's peace, but trust isn't there yet.
Yeah.
um
I trust you as far as I can throw you.
yeah, and that's why he doesn't want it. And he could have easily said, if the change was completely if the change had completely taken root in him, if he had completely emerged out of his chrysalis, he could have said something like, "Brother, I see that you're a wealthy man. You must have a lot of livestock, and I have a lot of livestock. And we both know the story about our uncle Ishmael. Our, excuse me, my belly is angry at me today. But he could have said, we both know the story about our uncle Ishmael, and our not Ishmael, our great uncle, Lot, and grandfather
Abraham.
Abraham, and how their men were bickering and they had to separate from one another so that they could maintain the peace. And I would, now that we're on good terms, I would hate for us to deal with that stress.
Mm-hmm.
So let's, you know, let me respect your boundaries and not bring any trouble to you
Right.
by maintaining my own household somewhere else so that we can maintain peace and live like brothers are supposed to. He could have said that, but he doesn't. Instead, he takes advantage of conditions on the ground to make excuses.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's it gives me hope. It it encourages me to know that, hey, I'm not the only one that struggles with my old flesh. Now that I am in Christ, I am not perfect,
Mm-hmm.
but I am being perfected day by day, hopefully. Being, um, I'm going to paraphrase it again, but trying to remember where it was. Romans? Not Romans. Thessalonians, maybe? That we are being changed from glory unto glory into the image of Christ Jesus our Lord. Um, he's being changed from glory into glory into the image of our Heavenly Father and the man who wrestled him in the middle of the night. And, um, but he's still wrestling with his old flesh. So there's hope for us too. Um, yeah.
Why don't we wrestle with ourselves of the sins of our past that come up, and we have habits of repeating those sins because we haven't been perfected in that area. But there's always lessons to be learned.
Yeah.
Some of them are pretty harsh, some aren't.
Yeah.
But not to say one is better than the other. Sin is sin. But we're perfected on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And we start to get in trouble when we refuse to uh, change our old life habits
Yeah.
into the the life habits of what Christ has shown us to have, and it, it is a ongoing battle that will only be perfected when Christ returns. Uh, we've just got to show that we're willing to uh, die to self and live in Christ.
Yeah.
Um, it'd be nice if we confess a sin and it be done with, but we would not learn
Yeah.
the lesson. Uh, and as long as you have Christ, you know, you have hope.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
let me finish out this chapter here.
Yeah.
Verse 18. Then Jacob came safely to the city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan. When he came from Padan Aram, and he pitched his tent before the city. And he brought the parcel of land. And he bought the parcel of land where he had pitched his tent from the children of Hamor, Shechem's father, for 100 pieces of money. And then he erected an altar there and called it El Elohe Israel, which is God, the God of Israel. Uh, is that Elohe?
Yeah.
Okay. Makes me feel good when I say something right. So he's settling down. He's bought this land for 100 pieces of money, which, however much that is, could be 100 pieces of silver, 100 pieces of gold, 100 pieces of lamb's hair. I don't know.
Yeah.
Some type of money was given. I'm assuming it's a lot of money, though. 100 pieces.
Yeah.
Depending on how big the land is, of course.
I want to say it was gold. I mean, not gold, but silver.
Mm-hmm.
And pieces of silver. But yeah. But yeah. Definitely not cheap. Um, but I love how the chapter comes to a conclusion with Jacob finally referring to himself not as the world saw him, not as his parents called him, not by the name of his past identity, but he dedicates the altar and names it in reference to his new identity in God. It is the altar of the God of Israel.
Um, where geographically is this area at this moment?
So, Sukkot and Shechem are north of the Dead Sea, which north of Jerusalem, on the western side of the Jordan River. In relation to Seir, Seir is going to be further southeast on the other side of the Jordan, um, which later, of course, is going to be called Edom because it's Jacob's descendants are going to become the Edomites, and it's going to be named after them. They're going to supplant the nations that live in that area, which is today's, I want to say, southwestern Jordan. Um, yeah.
Okay. 'Cause I just needed a reference of where
Yeah.
this, where it is that he settled. Uh,
Yeah. It's, uh, well, said east of, north of Jerusalem, but might be more westward than north. Um, trying to remember.
we're going to find out.
You know, I'd hate to be completely wrong and not um, correct it.
Look at my little maps here.
Okay, yeah. So it's a little north of Jerusalem. Um, not by much. Yeah.
Well, they're fixing to leave there pretty soon anyway, again.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's gonna be. All right. So, um, next week we'll be going into chapter 34, and um, there's gonna be some
Trouble.
serious trouble. And oddly enough, um, the episode we talked about circumcision being the sign of the covenant, and um, the servants being added or being brought under the covenant during Abraham's uh, time through circumcision. People had commented and pushed back on that, saying, well, you know, they're gonna, referring to this incident that we're gonna um, come into, the whole city got circumcised, but then they were slaughtered. So apparently not. And I did not respond to that because I was dealing with my flesh, because I was getting a little angry and cranky with people's attitudes. But you know, I I chose to not respond then because I didn't want to respond out of the flesh. Um, but there's a difference between divine intention and human action. Um, when God says one thing and then humans go and do the opposite, it's not God's fault. It doesn't invalidate God's intention. It just shows that humans are not perfect, and to say the least, right?
Yeah.
But we'll get more into that next week. I just find it interesting to note that it's going to be about the daughter of Jacob and something that happens to her, something horrific, and her brothers, of course, respond as any brother would probably if that happened to their sister. I mean, I hope they would, even though it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot. And it's interesting that the sister's name is Dina, which is the feminine form of the word um, judgment in Hebrew. It's interesting. She was prophetically named Judgment,
Mm.
and then
Which goes back on what we were talking about names, how important they are.
yeah,
Hmm.
and I mean, and we didn't really mention a whole lot about the change of Jacob's name from Jacob to Israel,
Hmm.
but it was kind of implied in the
Well,
conversation.
he's still going to be referred to as Jacob for a little bit
Yeah,
longer.
yeah,
I don't
but
know if that's on purpose or what, but
I think it has to do with the battle between the spirit man and the flesh man in Jacob, and people's memories of the fleshly Jacob, and maybe their inability to accept the change in him. And we experience all that in life,
Mhm.
either in ourselves or in the lives of other people around us, where um, we know who the person was before God got a hold of them. And sometimes it's hard to let go of that past, either as the the people that past happened to, or as the person that inflicted that past on people. And I, lo- I love that I love how the Word of God brings out humanity, human experience, and frames it for us. Um, but I don't know. That's all I got. Got anything?
I think I'm just looking real quick here. I don't know. If I made a mistake, I made a mistake. No big deal. I may have referenced the wrong book and chapter earlier,
Oh,
but that's okay.
the
With
the
prodigal
prodigal
son,
son.
right?
Gotcha.
I think I referenced. I think what I said was talking about uh, when Peter was on the water
Oh,
and he started sinking because he was looking at the troubles of the world, and
yeah.
we was talking about that earlier about uh, I think it was Jacob seeing the troubles around him,
Mm.
and I meant to reference that, but that's okay. You can write to us or email us or whatever you want to do to correct me, and I'll take that full responsibility for messing that up. But I knew what I
Uh,
meant in my head.
and and guess what? If you don't know what we're talking about, if we made a mistake, um, you can Google it. You can Chat GPT it. You can, um, I don't know. Today we have all sorts of tools that we can use and to do research. So, you know, look it up. If you don't know the passages right off the top of your head, it's not hard to find them. And let us know.
For sure.
Um, but yeah, once again, thank you for tuning in and letting us be a part of your life. Um, till next time, God bless you and keep you. May He make His face shine upon you and give you peace.